A non-concessional contribution is an after-tax superannuation contribution. That means you're using money you've already paid tax on, like savings in your bank account, and contributing it to your super fund. Unlike concessional contributions, you can't claim a tax deduction when making a non-concessional contribution, but your super fund also doesn't pay tax on the way in. In effect, you're simply transferring ownership of your own savings into the superannuation system. There are many reasons why you might want to make a non-concessional contribution into your super. This can include the following. 1. Access to the Superco contribution. If eligible, the government may match your contribution with up to 50 cents per $1 contributed, up to a maximum of $500. 2. Access to the eligible spouse contribution. If you contribute $3,000 or more to your spouse's super account and they meet the income and eligibility test, you may be eligible for a $540 tax offset. 3. Transition wealth into a tax-free environment. Many pre-retirees and retirees use non-concessional contributions to build their pension phase balance, where earnings are tax-free. 4. As an age pension strategy, where one member of a couple is under age pension age, assets held in the accumulation account may be excluded from the means test, potentially increasing the other partner's age pension entitlement. And 5, as a recontribution strategy. Withdrawing super and recontributing it as a non-concessional contribution can reduce the taxable component of your super balance, improving estate planning outcomes, especially when your super is left to an adult child. The non-concessional contributions cap is set at 4 times the concessional cap. So for the 2025-26 financial year, the concessional cap is $30,000, which means the annual non-concessional cap is $120,000. Using the bring-forward rule, you can contribute up to $360,000 in a single financial year by bringing forward the next 2 years' cap space. For example, in the current financial year, you could contribute $360,000 by bringing forward the 2026-27 and the 2027-28 years cap limits, subject to eligibility criteria, which we'll discuss shortly. This means that you wouldn't be able to make any additional non-concessional contributions until the 2028-29 financial year. The bring forward rule is automatically triggered when a non-concessional contribution exceeds the annual cap of $120,000. Once triggered, you have until the end of the 3rd year to utilise the remaining contribution cap space. You can check if you have an existing bring forward arrangement in place through the ATO portal linked to your MyGov. It's important to note that when the bring forward rule is activated, the contribution cap amount is fixed and will not increase with indexation in the following 2 years. In order to make a non-concessional contribution, there are eligibility requirements which you need to meet. You need to be under the age of 75 and your total super balance needs to be less than the general transfer balance cap on the 30th of June of the previous financial year. The transfer balance cap is currently $2 million in the 2025-26 financial year. Where you are close to the transfer balance cap, you need to be cautious when using the bring forward rule. This table outlines the maximum contribution you can make using the bring forward arrangement. Before making a non-concessional contribution, there are a number of things that you need to consider first. This includes the following. Contributions are preserved in superannuation until you meet a condition of release. The most common condition of release is reaching your preservation age and retiring from the workforce or attaining age 65. You need to familiarise yourself with the conditions of release before making a contribution. Superannuation is subject to legislative changes. Rules around superannuation may change, which could result in an adverse outcome to you. The further you are away from preservation age, the higher the potential risk of legislative changes. If you exceed your non-concessional contributions cap, including any bring forward amounts, the excess contributions are subject to a significant tax penalty of 47%. This penalty tax applies to the excess contribution amount unless you choose to withdraw the excess contribution from your super fund. In addition to the penalty tax on the excess contributions, any associated earnings on those excess amounts are also subject to the penalty tax. And before putting any additional money into superannuation, you want to ensure you understand and are comfortable with the investment strategy and fee structure within your fund. Making a non-concessional contribution is relatively easy. Most super funds allow you to make contributions using payment systems like BPay or EFT. You can contribute a lump sum or make smaller payments throughout the year. You don't need to notify the ATO you're making a non-concessional contribution. Most super funds assume voluntary contributions are non-concessional unless you inform them otherwise. Non concessional contributions come into play predominantly in phases 3 and 4 of the wealth creation process, when you are approaching or have met your preservation age. They can be a great tool to maximise the age pension, boost assets held in tax free pension account, or minimise tax on a death benefit payment to a non financial dependent. We typically don't recommend a non concessional contribution to an accumulator in phase 2 of wealth creation unless they are eligible for the government co contribution, eligible spouse contribution, or some other benefit that may be unique to their situation. If you think a non concessional contribution is an appropriate strategy for you, we strongly recommend you speak with your financial advisor. They can help assess the appropriateness for your particular situation. Please note, the information contained in this video is general in nature only and does not take into consideration your objectives, financial situation, or needs. As legislation is constantly changing, the accuracy of this information is only current as at the time of recording. Before relying on the information, you should check to see if the content is still relevant.